want residuals.
What's going on, Freak Nation? Turn that music down just a little bit. Coming up in moments, a good friend of the Freak Nation, Josh Alper, Pro Football Talk, will be here with the Freaks. He's the headliner. We got a backup by the name of Ryan Reynolds. He'll be here in the Freak Nation. Going to flashback a little bit. Ryan Reynolds, Super Bowl 50, joined us, and we had there's a lot of mansplaining in this thing.
Okay, so Super Bowl 50. So we're talking 2016.
Yeah.
February 2016. Okay, got it. Just trying to figure out what direction the mansplaining may be going in. Oh, babies, kids.
Yeah,
got
here's
it.
a sample, Crash.
Okay.
All right.
Here, Kenny and Crash, they're husband and wife. Not a lot of people know that. They have a little 2-year-old daughter.
Oh, no, what are you
and
getting
Kenny
into?
always asks this every one of our guests, and I know that you have a little tyke yourself.
I got a 1-year-old, yeah.
How much is it kicking in the man jump? It seems to have a target on this thing.
Yeah, she's more head butter.
But she finds your jump.
She comes in. I mean, for me, it's the stunt work is in the diapers. I mean, yesterday, I changed a diaper that was so bad, I thought we had to move to another town. It was intense, right? You know what I'm saying, right?
It's gnarly.
Oh, yeah.
You change the diapers, don't you?
She's 20 miles from me, and she's still kicking me in the balls.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, they love it.
His name, Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool out February 12th. Dude, thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me. This is great. This is nice. This was a nice pit stop amidst this scrum of insanity.
Buddy, good luck, man.
Love it. Thank you, guys.
We need to ask Josh Alper when he joins us about that scrum of insanity.
Yeah.
COVID has changed so much over the last couple of years. Is it still a scrum of insanity? Radio Row.
Let's do it now.
All right,
Josh
let's do
Alper
that.
here in the Freak Nation. Pro Football Talk. ProFootballTalk.com. We talked a little bit about this before going live with you. It's a different animal there for Radio Row, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different. There's not as much action, not as much in person. I know, we're doing shows from NBC, and we've some people live still doing interviews. Zoom and stuff is still a big part of what we're doing. Those things haven't quite changed yet, and changed all the way back. I hope that's a year away, and that this time next year everything's back. Normal may be a stretch, but back to what we remember.
Well, let's get into some football conversations. We also talked a little bit about this, and we've hammered the Bidwell family, Michael Bidwell, since we landed here in Phoenix, and we've caught a lot of grief for that, and I don't need to go into the weeds on that. But you brought up a great comment in regards to Kyler Murray, and I'll let you use it. Your take on Kyler Murray scrubbing his social media, his performance on the field during the regular season and postseason. What's your take, Josh Alper?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the scrubbing the social media, it feels more like something you hear a wide receiver do than a quarterback do. It's this sort of, kind of passive aggressive diva, whatever handle you want to put on it, that if you've got something to say, just, say it straight away. And he and the Cardinals may be having some kind of conversation, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like, they held on to Cliff Kingsbury despite, a really ugly end to the season and another second half collapse. Murray didn't get the job done when he needed to, miss time with injury, these things where you would think everybody would be just solely focused on getting it done in year 4 for that, that group and finally getting over the hump. That team was the best team in the league 10 weeks into the season. And then, completely fell off the planet. And for it to be about, social media and what message is he trying to send and where is he trying to go? It doesn't feel like this is a team with everybody in the, all the oars in the water moving the same direction.
It's interesting you bring up Cliff Kingsbury, of course, the coach of the Cardinals, in that Brian Flores, people are speculating, why exactly did he lose his job when things were trending in a decent direction in that department? Yet he loses his job, race comes into it, and then we hear the accusations of, the team was paying me, or they offered to pay me to tank games or to, do some things that he didn't want to do as a coach. It just doesn't come from his nature. However, the exact opposite could be said, maybe, I'm just speculating, with the Cardinals. Do you think that, hey, Cliff Kingsbury, he's got something else up on management, or he's got something where he's not going to do, or he will do what management tells him to do because that's how he's keeping his job?
Well, I think there's always a positive to being, the choice of a GM and Steve Keim, who's made a lot of coaching hires, who clearly has a very tight relationship with the Bidwell family and has been able to skate past some things that other general managers would have lost their job for. I don't think it hurts that Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray have the same agent. I don't think that that's something that works against either guy's situation there. I think that it would, firing Cliff Kingsbury off this year, I think there have been a lot of people who took issue with it. But I think that it would have become a bigger issue with Kyler Murray and where you're going to go there. If the Cardinals are totally in on Kyler Murray, and by all appearances they are, they're going to give Cliff Kingsbury more rope than another team might give him because of that tie and those ties. And that if the next move is how can we fire Cliff Kingsbury and not completely blow things up, because how many coaches does Steve Keim get to hire? How many chances? How many whacks at the piñata? I think all of those things factor into it. To me, this feels like it is the absolute make or break year for this, this Cardinals run. They loaded up with guys this year, obviously, guys like AJ Green and JJ Watt and things like that it just feels like they've given everything that you need in terms of support and personnel and everything else to get the job done. And if it can't get done with this group, then someone else has to come in.
Going back to the Brian Flores part of the conversation, are you hearing or feeling that in Los Angeles now with the Super Bowl upon us, that conversation is kind of tempered a little bit? It's gone down a little bit, or is it still as hot as ever?
Well, I think it's been tempered a little bit because, that initial flurry of allegations and responses has been played out. We haven't seen any other coaches sign on to that, which would have given more life to the story. Mm-hmm. That said, Roger Goodell's press conferences today, that is going to be a topic of conversation unless, the NFL strictly gives the microphone to little kids and assorted other hangers on. That issue will come up again. And we've already heard the NFL's response that, that this is an issue that they feel needs to be addressed in terms of head coaching hiring, which seems to put the ball right on Flores' side of the court, especially after the league said the allegations were without merit in the immediate aftermath of the suit. So I think there's still a lot more to come. But it's, you're going to need things to really move the conversation forward. And that's going to take other coaches, other executives signing on to the lawsuit, or, other actions by the league to address the Rooney Rule, address, the way things are moving forward.
We're talking to Josh Alper, Pro Football Talk, of course. Josh, let's get to the Super Bowl for obvious reasons. The last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl was actually the last time we saw you in person on Radio Row in Atlanta. Rams lost that Super Bowl, unfortunately. But my question here is regarding Joe Burrow. He obviously beat the Kansas City Chiefs. He beat the Tennessee Titans, getting sacked 8 or 9 times. Is Joe Burrow good enough to handle this Rams defensive front that has so many stars a part of it?
Yeah, I mean, that Titans game was one that it felt like what more could a quarterback take in a single game? He was getting hit every single time he dropped back and just kept getting up and playing well and getting the job done all season. I mean, he got sacked 50 times and didn't show any sign of backing down, any sign of shrinking away from anything coming his way. And that's a year off of a torn ACL. So I don't think that Joe Burrow is going to be scared. He's going to be cowed into anything other than, the performance that we've seen throughout the year. I do think, though, that the Rams present challenges that are, really great beyond the defensive line. The fact that you have a Jalen Ramsey in the defensive backfield adds another layer of it, because you can't just count on Jamar Chase going out and beating the guy who's on him if Ramsey's the guy on him. Now you have Tyler Boyd, you have T. Higgins, but I do think that, the Rams defense can affect the game in a great way. But I think the Bengals defense can do the exact same thing. And with 7 turnovers so far in the playoffs, I think that's something that plays right into an Achilles heel for this Rams team, which is a frequency of turnovers that's higher than you'd like to see.
Do you think that if the Rams should have Jalen Ramsey on Jamar Chase at all times? Because that's something that Raheem Morris this year has done a lot of, which is he's moved Jalen Ramsey around quite a bit. And so, and at least as a Rams fan's perspective, I wouldn't actually expect him to be on Jamar Chase the entire time, which is kind of wild. Because to me, that's the matchup you'd want Jamar Chase covered at all times. And then the only problem is if you stop Jamar Chase like the Chiefs did, there's T. Higgins too.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think that confusion is your friend as a defensive coordinator. And if you have Ramsey sometimes on Chase with no safety help, sometimes you have him with safety help, sometimes you have him in the slot on Tyler Boyd, sometimes you have him, on T. Higgins, and you move him around and you change what's going on behind him and you bring pressure from different areas and do different things, that all of that should help against Joe Burrow, and all of that should help against an offensive line that gets overmatched at times. And look, if Aaron Donald is winning up the middle all day and Von Miller wins on the outside, a lot of those coverage things are it's going to be about can you just make cover long enough for those guys to get home. And I think the more confusion you put in the defensive backfield, the better your chances are of pulling that off.
Well, Crashers had to leave to go pick up our daughter, Josh. I think you know a little bit about that, about having to go pick up young ones after
Indeed.
School, right? But we can carry on for another 4 or 5 minutes. Looking at the headlines of Pro Football Talk, is this where we are now with the Super Bowl and football in general before a big game? Because if you look at maybe the top 5 or 6 headlines, you've got NFL investigation of Washington Commanders, Washington hires investigators, from playmakers. NFL new police wanted to speak to Alvin Kamara. My goodness, there's not a whole lot of coverage up there in regards to the Super Bowl. Is that where we are now, man?
Well, again, I think that the way the Super Bowl is set up this year is a part of that. There's no team availabilities. There's no time in front of the teams and times with the players. Now, the teams will practice today and we'll start getting some stuff from there. But, right now the off-field stuff is absolutely overshadowing the on-field. And it's amazing because we've had, I think, as great a playoff run as I can remember in some time, that, the games in the championship round, the games in the divisional round were both just, fantastic games across the board. But there hasn't been that, overly compelling narrative from any team. You don't have anybody laying down big, trash talk or anything like that. You didn't have the Monday night media night where everybody's paying attention and everybody's tuned in, and that on the same way. They showed it on Monday night, but the Bengals spoke in the morning, the Rams spoke in the afternoon. You kind of jump around from Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting to hear what people say. And it's a very different experience. You don't have the same laser focus on the game. And, between the Brian Flores lawsuit, the Washington stuff has been going on for so long. It just adds up to a point that it's hard for the game to get any breath. I would think that'll change a little bit in the next few days. Now that the Bengals are here and practices will be getting underway. But, it would be nice if Odell Beckham or Jamar Chase or somebody wants to, say something super outrageous about the game and get everybody fired up.
That's so true. Again, Josh Alper joining us here in the Freak Nation. The whole John Gruden lawsuit's hanging out there. Washington, Brian Flores, the NFL doing a flip-flop on their reaction to the lawsuit. You and your gang and Florio, I don't know when you sleep.
Yeah, it does feel like it does feel like there's something around every door, and it's felt like that for the last couple of years. And I think that in some ways it just mirrors society, right? This is everything that's gone on in terms of whether it's Me Too or Black Lives Matter or just this sense of the social justice aspect of life that was not something that we thought about nearly as much as we have over the last 2 years. And the NFL is as is a quintessentially American industry. So it would be silly to think that it would avoid it. And as much and as hard as people like to say, keep my politics out of sports, you just can't do it because that's just American life in 2022.
Josh, thanks for doing this, man. Good to see you. Good to get you back in the Freak Nation.
Absolutely.
Just as the football season's ending.
Yeah. Well, as you just said, our season never ends. We're going 52 weeks a year. So
that's true. Well, we appreciate what you do and what Pro Football Talk does for us football fans. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You bet. Josh Alper here in the Freak Nation. Always fantastic when he rolls with the Freaks. Think about that, Richie. You want to cover football, but you have just a shit ton of things to cover outside of the damn game. And I wasn't being facetious. I showed you the headlines on Pro Football Talk.
It just never ends. The NFL is king for a reason. It just never does stop. And you know what's funny is the last time I was just mentioning to Josh, last time we were actually on Radio Row for a Super Bowl, I felt like it was the same way where that entire week there was just no storylines relating to the game itself. So we were talking about everything but the game at that point. I don't really remember some of the main NFL storylines at the time.
Was that the Colin Kaepernick year?
I think that was 2018, 2019.
Right.
So I think that was right around the time it was popping. Yeah. But yeah, like Josh said, Roger Goodell's press conference is apparently today. Right. That's going to be juicy because he's going to be bombarded. I mean, every year he gets asked the same questions, and every year he does the 5 Ds of dodgeball and dodges, dips, duck, dives, and dodge all these questions. So I can't wait to hear how he's going to respond to the Brian Flores questions that he's going to inevitably be asked. Which, speaking of, did you see yesterday, Kenny, that the Texans were introducing Lovie Smith as their head coach? They get asked about Brian Flores and that situation and the GM. And as he's answering this very serious question, the fire alarm goes off. And so he's trying to talk about this very serious issue. And sorry, the fire alarm just went off. I think they ended up finishing the press conference, but kind of fishy, don't you think?
I don't know who's whipping ass with that. The fact that he was able to try, or at least pull through a fire alarm, or the fact that the fire alarm came off at such an opportune time. There's a lot of talk about media training for players, athletes. There needs to be media training for general managers, owners, executives, head coaches. All those times, Richie, that we've had a chance to sit in front of Michael Bidwell and ask him questions, it's just incredible. The number of times we've been able to sit there and really get down to the meat of the issue with the Cardinals.
Oops.
Yeah. Hey, man, we're going to flash back to Super Bowl 50. Sorry, Richie, you weren't there with us, but Crash, Bo Brock, yours truly, and a 2-year-old daughter of mine was there. And Ryan Reynolds sat down for about 10 minutes with us as he was big pimping. Almost said something really. I almost said dead stool. Sorry, Deadpool 2. Dead stool.
No, this was the original Deadpool.
No, was it?
Yes.
Wow. So Deadpool 2's been out since Super Bowl 50, huh?
Deadpool 2 came out in 2019, I believe.
Loved both of them. Fantastic. Ryan Reynolds next in the Freak Nation.
Saddle up. Lock and load.
Let's move these people out!
Our collective Insurrection. Rated PG. December 11th. Only in theaters.
We'll get back to the video interview in just a moment, but with high gas prices holding steady, it might be time for you to check out Lucas Oil Fuel Treatment and Injector Cleaner. It increases power, fuel mileage. It's formulated for both gasoline and diesel engines, carbureted, of course, fuel injected. Are you kidding me? It's like a tune-up in a bottle. Just add it to every fill-up of that snappy car of yours. And of course, it's as simple as... You get it. Now, back to the interview.
I want residuals.
All right, well, as Richie so succinctly corrected me, nice job, Richie. It is Deadpool, the first Deadpool. Again, that's just kind of where I am with my timeline, man. Were you running the board for us back in L.A. then? Or back in Phoenix when we were at Super Bowl 50?
That's correct. That's correct.
Not too many people had a chance for Ryan Reynolds to sit down as it was not a lifelong, but it was a long dream of his to put Deadpool to the big screen. And he talks about it in this interview. We're going back to Super Bowl 50 with Ryan Reynolds. And while you're watching this, I want you to think about this. The whole time I'm holding my arm out like this with a GoPro camera. That's how we did this, Richie. One GoPro. I'm just going, having no idea. I had no preview. I had nothing. Man, how things have changed. Ryan Reynolds here in the Freak Nation. His name, of course, Ryan Reynolds, joining the Freaks on Fox Sports 910, at Kenny and Crash, at Fox Sports 910. And Reynolds, I've been a part of movie junkies before where I'm that douchebag on the other side of the camera asking every freaking question of you guys that you just look at us and go, really? Again? But this is different. You're rolling around Radio Row here at Super Bowl 50. Isn't this a little different perspective for you as an actor?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, look, it's half the battle is that I get to talk about a film that I love. So sometimes that's not the case. You know, sometimes you're on the road and you're like, I don't love this one. But this one has been an 11-year passion project for me. It's been 11 years I've been trying to get it made, and it's a great, it's a bittersweet kind of Cinderella story in and of itself that the movie's even here now. So I'm thrilled, and audiences are psyched too. So that makes me happy.
Why so long? 11 years. 11 years.
Yeah, I've been attached to the film for 11 years. Wow. Yeah, with the studio. Yeah, and I just kept trying to get it made, and they just wouldn't do it.
You kept getting denied, or what?
It's tough. Look, it's a rated R guy who works in the X-Men universe, and the X-Men universe is a PG-13 universe that they make a lot of money at. You know, so for them to greenlight a movie about a rogue, terminally ill mercenary who runs around in a red body condom, saying and doing whatever the hell he wants, it's a big deal. So, but thankfully we sort of audiences are prepped for it. Audiences are already loving Deadpool. They're loving all the marketing materials. They had a huge following before we even made the movie, so they're seeing that now, and it's kind of paying off. So,
is it the time it took to create this film? Are you glad that you actually, in hindsight, had that much time to get it right?
Oh man, for sure. I mean, because Deadpool is kind of a commentary on comic book culture. I mean, there's Deadpool makes fun of other X-Men. Deadpool makes fun of Ryan Reynolds. I mean, Deadpool makes fun. He's sort of in the film. He takes very little very seriously. So it's really refreshing, and it's particularly because audiences are so savvy to comic book movies right now that when Deadpool says stuff like he makes fun of somebody doing the superhero landing and the way they land in that 3-point stance and the logo, how stupid it is. He's laughing at that. There's something really fun about it. And audience is sort of what I'm gathering, because we're proud of the movie, so we've been screening it all over the world in the last few days. Wow. The audiences are freaking out for it because I think they feel like that's them up there. They feel like if I were in the comic book movie, I would say and do things like Deadpool, and it's pretty exciting.
I don't know, extremely violent, funny, action hero. It doesn't
sound. No, I'm gonna go work for Avon.
Avon.
Yeah, right?
How did that come out of your melon?
I don't know. Some say it's a gift. Some say it would be a disease. My wife might say both. So yeah.
Actor Ryan Reynolds pimping Deadpool here in the Freak Nation. And you can't dick around with comic book fiends. If you mess around with, if you can't, thank you, Crasher, for repeating that. Have you found with this movie that you've been called out on some things with these previews or these trailers of Deadpool that, dude, you shouldn't have done it that way?
Well, look, the guy that's making the movie, I produced the movie as well as starred in the movie. You don't find a bigger Deadpool fan than me. So I feel like I've never encountered a single soul who's a Deadpool fan who said you did that wrong. I mean, it's and that's high. Those are big words to say about a movie like this. But I'm obsessed with Deadpool. So I'm obsessed about putting the most authentic version of Deadpool on the screen. And so is Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, who wrote the movie with me, and Tim Miller, and we just love it. We love it. So we knew if we could make the most diehard Deadpool fan happy, we could make a general audience happy as well.
I saw somewhere, it might have been Entertainment Weekly, who knows if we can believe him or not, where you kept some items from the Deadpool set. That's just got to be something for every movie, though, right?
No, I don't keep things from every movie, but I did keep 2 items from the Deadpool movie. One is in some of the scenes in Deadpool, he carries around with him a tiny stuffed unicorn that wears assless leather chaps. I kept that, and I also kept the suit. No, and T.J. Miller. I still orbit his world. He and I are just set to a Wilson Phillips song. We love each other. We hold on for one more day. I kept the Deadpool suit. That was a big deal because keeping any suit in the Marvel universe is a big no-no. But I just said I've waited 11 years to make this movie. I'm gonna leave with the suit, and if anyone wants to come try and take it off of me, they're welcome to. I'm in excellent shape right now because I'm playing Deadpool. In about 6 months, you could try me, and I'll probably be able to lose that fight.
Nothing from Van Wilder?
From Van Wilder, I didn't keep anything. No, and in hindsight, I regret that. I wish I did. I really wish I did. So,
you're walking down a no-name street. What's the first character you hear the majority of the time? Hey!
Right now it's Deadpool because it's just so ubiquitous. It's just everywhere. I mean, even in like Taiwan, I was just in Taiwan 3 days ago, and that's all I ever heard. But typically, it just the Van Wilder one you hear a little bit, but usually they have a tinge of gray in their hair now, which is great. I don't know. For me, that's funny because like I see it's sort of growing with me because I got a little gray hair now too. So I hear that one a lot. The proposals one you get a lot. You know,
2 guys and a girl in a pizza place.
Get that a little bit. Yeah, those people are usually being wheeled out into the sun to eat a sandwich. But yeah.
But Van Wilder was the Animal House for a generation.
It really was. Yeah, we didn't know at the time. We were just thought we were making a fun National Lampoon movie, and I'm Chevy Chase obsessed. So I was really in that whole movie. A lot of people don't realize that Van Wilder. I'm just doing a bad impression of Chevy Chase. I'm doing the best impression I can possibly do. But I worshipped him, and I still do. He's actually he lives near me. He's my neighbor, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. His wife called me his illegitimate son, and I took that as the highest compliment you could possibly take. So
we're not going to ask you a whole lot of football questions, but you being from Canada, what about curling?
Oh, curling's huge. Yeah. Curling is it's in the Olympics. It is. They love it. Yeah, it is an Olympic sport. It is absolutely.
You knew that, Crash?
Yeah.
You knew that.
Yeah.
Dario Franchitti and Danica Patrick.
I know I knew that. He just
said it's massive. I don't understand it personally. I don't really know how it works. I would love to make fun of it, but I do assume that the Legion of Curlers are a little violent, so I'm not going to really get into that.
I will say, is it not Von Miller, who Vernon Davis with the Denver Broncos playing this Sunday? He's very big into curling, and he supports our Olympic team at least. So there you go.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now, my co-hosts here, Kenny and Crash, they're husband and wife. Not a lot of people know that. They have a little 2-year-old daughter.
Oh no, what are you
and
getting
Kenny
into?
always asks this every one of our guests, and I know that you have a little tyke yourself.
I got a 1-year-old, yeah.
How much is it kicking you in the man jump? It seems you just have a target on this thing.
Yeah, she's more head butter.
But she finds your jump.
She comes in. I mean, for me, it's the stunt work is in the diapers. I mean, yesterday, I changed a diaper that was so bad, I thought we had to move to another town. It was intense, right? You know what I'm saying, right?
It's gnarly.
Oh, yeah.
You change the diapers, don't you?
She's 20 miles from me, and she's still kicking me in the balls.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, they love it.
His name, Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool out February 12th. Dude, thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me. This is great. This is nice. This was a nice pit stop amidst this scrum of insanity.
Buddy, good luck, man.
Love it. Thank you, guys.
Oh, yeah, Freak Nation. It's greatness.
I love him. He's so good.
He's damn good, man.
Both him and his wife, Blake Lively, just...
Yeah. What's the new one I watched? The Nice Guy, or his latest Nice Guy? Yeah, it's a nice guy.
Free guy?
Free guy. Yeah, that too. Free guy or nice guy?
It's
Is
called
it free
guy?
Okay.
Yes.
I watch that. Yeah, I watch that on one of my flights. I mean, when you have an actor or a personality like that that's so honest saying, bro, don't go see my movie Green Lantern. I mean, that's stones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, man, we'll do it again on Friday. Super Bowl Eve. Where am I going to be on Friday? Am I in Daytona? No, I'm not in Daytona yet, am I? Oh. Where the hell am I going to be Friday? Am I going to be here, Richie?
I don't know.
Right?
Where in the world is Kenny Sargent?
I will be in Daytona next week, filing reports from Daytona. Oh, man. Thank you guys for being a part of this big old thing on a Whip Ass Wednesday. A lot of folks whipping some ass. A Freaks Friday, a Freaks Fun Friday coming up. Make sure you're part of this. Who knows? Maybe we'll go back and bring back some retro Radio Row stuff back in the day.
There's a lot.
Yeah. Did we do much video from Atlanta?
Yes, we were I think we recorded pretty much every single interview.
Where the hell is all that?
I think they're up on our Facebook page. Either the Kenny and Crash Facebook or the station Facebook page. They're up there somewhere.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll find them. All right, any last words, Richard?
Not really. No.
What?
Real quick. Yeah, don't go away yet. This is a Whip Ass Wednesday. I just want to mention one thing real quick.
Yeah.
Lindsay Ellis, the women's snowboarder. She's most famous for looking like she was going to win a gold medal in 2006, but falling on the last stretch and getting the silver medal.
Talking about the snowcross?
Snowboard cross, exactly.
Snowboard cross, yeah, that's right. Oh, I forget. Yes.
16 years later, in her 5th Olympic Games, Lindsay Ellis won the gold medal.
Wow.
Earlier today.
That's
16
badass.
years after the thing that made her famous. And despite having a terrific career, that's what most people thought of her for. But
Right.
she's now an Olympic gold medalist for the first time. It was a great story. One of my favorite stories of the Olympic Games so far. Lindsay Ellis with an ass.
All right, I'm going to whip ass out of here later.
I want residuals.